And the thing is, I do believe there was talk about these things. I believe if we study history, the Confederates were able to shoot pterodactyls, back in the Civil War, and they spread these things out. Anybody can look it up online.
Google it
They
yourself.
spread these things out, and this is a historical fact. So, they spread this thing out, and it's got a huge winglet. It was a pterodactyl they shot. So, of course, these things have been around. Now, they went extinct, obviously, slowly, but surely. And so...
What I'm saying is Jesus wrote a dinosaur to work. That's history. It's in the Bible. How to Train Your Dragon.
Historical facts.
And if you don't believe it, do your own research. Pull up Google. You'll find the picture, I promise.
Oh my God.
Thank you, John Gleason, Godless engineer, for gifting me this beautiful moment. Y'all remember when they tried to cancel Steven Spielberg for posing with an animatronic triceratops animal rights activist?
Back it up.
Hit it from the back.
Cloaca. Historical facts.
Eat my ass, BP. You're down here bailing on the rest of us because you don't want to process your grief and shame like a normal person by drinking and mistreating strangers.
No, Rick. It is you who must nibble my cloaca, or bird asshole.
Everyone knows what a cloaca is.
Back in the Civil War, and they spread these things out. Anybody can look it up online. They spread these things out, and this is a historical fact. So, they spread this thing out, and it's got a huge winglet. It was a pterodactyl they shot. So, of course, these things have been around. Now, they went extinct, obviously, slowly, but surely. And so...
Paul Bunyan was sharing some Funyuns with his pet velociraptor.
Whoa.
Oh, you thought it was an ox? Roll back the clock. Let me knock the socks off. Historical facts.
I didn't cut out. You heard me. Are you a pervert or something? Okay.
What's up, heathens? How y'all doing? I'm the Godless Engineer, and I critically analyze... Fuck. I messed up. Yeah, I checked on my own bullshit. I'm the Godless Engineer... Huh? Oh. Oh, you can? Hello, hello. Maybe it's not. I'm pumped up. Let's see how it sounds. I'm the Godless Engineer, and I critically analyze apologist claims to give you the best arguments and information so that you can stand up and use your voice. Yeah, everybody's asking about low. Yeah. I have a very deaf audience, I feel. No offense to everybody in the audience that definitely supports me and shit. Let's see. I'm raising it up as much as I can. See if I can move it in closer. All right. I've got it pumped up a good bit. Hopefully that works. It looks like it's coming up a little bit. Am I? Okay. All right, let's see how this does.
I don't know if y'all know this, but when you get to heaven, your moral actions are not judged. You're only judged for believing in me. Thank you.
Okay. I'm the Godless Engineer, and did I already do that successfully? I'll do it again. I'm the Godless Engineer, and I critically analyze apologist claims to give you the best arguments and information so that you can stand up and use your voice. Tonight, we're going to be taking a look at a few Catholic priests that are going to be explaining a couple of topics from their own Catholic perspective. One is this whole idea that you can sell your soul to the devil. The second one is why atheists seem to be immune to demonic possession. And then finally, we're going to listen to a priest.
You have been blessed by Christ. Now go forth and suck my dong.
And then we're going to hear from a Catholic priest that is going to explain how Revelation predicts the New World Order, or like this Illuminati sort of New World Order conspiracy theory. He's also going to throw some other like conspiratorial things in there. People are still saying that it's low. People are still saying it's low. Yeah. I mean, I hear it fine from over here. Here, let me try one thing real quick. How is this? Maybe not. I don't know. Anyways, to the intro. All right, heathens. Well, what's the song? Suppose technical difficulties with GE. Making ears bleed early. Okay, so if you guys don't know, we've had several super chats already. If you would like to try, or if you would like to support the channel here and get your 2 cents put in on whatever we're reviewing on the live stream, definitely send in those super chats. They help us to donate to good charities. And what did we say this month was dedicated to? Cancer aware. Yeah. So we're going to be donating to a cancer charity this month. If you would like to help us donate to that, please consider sending in a super chat or becoming a Skeptic Mafia member. That also helps. We did have a Skeptic Mafia hangout last weekend, so you won't be able to make it for that one, obviously, because that's how time works. But if you want to join the Skeptic Mafia next month, you can get access to the Skeptic Mafia hangout. In the past, we've done Skeptic Mafia podcast, which we should probably start up again because we're heading into election season here in the great United States of fuck all of us. And that would be kind of interesting to go through a bunch of political topics if you're interested in a very liberal point of view here in America. But you can get that. You also get the emojis and everything like that. But for the super chats, we got Daniel M. says, David says good night. Also, his birthday was yesterday. Oh, shit. Cover your ears, everybody that doesn't like me singing. 7? He's 7? Okay, awesome. So, David is 7 years old. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to David. Happy birthday to you. You're 7 years old. David, I hope you have a great birthday there, buddy, and I hope you have an awesome weekend, and we'll see you next week, okay? Thank you so much there, Daniel, for sending in that super chat. Drew's Book Review says, Happy Apostiversary, February 14th, 2016. Week for me and fam, 8 years now. Happy to be here. Also, hello, GE and Casey and fam. Yeah, so if you guys don't know, Drew's Book Reviews, he left the Mormon religion, the Mormon faith, and I actually have a multi-part interview of Drew on the channel here, so if you want to go and type in Drew interview or something, I'm sure it'll come up. I have another. I do have another Drew, but Drew's book. I don't know if I titled it Drew's book reviews, but anyways, Drew is on the channel. His interview, his whole story is on the channel. It was quite an interesting conversation we had. And then finally, Trickster, hail Satan! Keep up the good work, you devil, you. Thank you so much there, Trickster. I appreciate the super chat and everything. You're awesome there, bud. So thank you so much for all the super chats. Oh, Platonic Cuddler sent in their member chat for the month, saying the free member chat that you get. You should totes get Banjoli. It's a combination of a banjo and ukulele, and the sound is the sound is terrible. What do you expect? That sounds right up my fucking alley there, Platonic Cuddler, Zoomy, I spanked myself. But yeah, that sounds pretty awesome. I like that idea. Okay, so we do have a full slate tonight. We've got some comments to go through. We've also got some news that we're going to hit up first. And then Brosivas is going to come by and respond to a fucked up science post. And then we're going to get on into the actual video. So let's head right on into the news. Still don't have an intro graphic for this yet because I'm lazy as shit. Let's talk about some fucking shitty news. That was the thing. In case you guys are wondering, I am drinking some whiskey tonight. This is Four Roses small batch. And it's actually pretty good for bourbon whiskey. And it's got a really nice flavor. Apparently Four Roses is called Four Roses because it has a unique blend of 4 different whiskey recipes. Yeah, I didn't know that. I was looking up what the difference between small batch and the regular rye whiskey is, and it's just it's just a little different. Like it's got a different combination of the 4 or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. It's got a higher proof. I know that much. Oh, and it tastes delicious. Oh, the flavor profiles are different too. Whereas the regular Four Roses whiskey has a bit. I think it said it had like a bit darker sort of flavor profile, whereas this one's a bit brighter, and it's a lot easier to drink and everything. But in any case, all right. So on to the news. This week has been rather hectic, especially today. Today in the news, we had a lot of things going on, but one thing that you may not have heard of, which, I'm keen to look out for strange news articles that don't necessarily track with like atheist topics or anything like that. Nothing in today's actual news, with the exception of, none of them have anything to do with atheism or religion. This first one, though, is something that I take to heart, okay? On the screen, you see State Representative Ron Gant. He comes from a district near Memphis. He's seen here trying to lecture rednecks on shit they really don't give a fuck about. He has co-authored a bill to ban the sale of cold beers at retail outlets. Which I know you're thinking, why the fuck's he wanting to do that? His concern is over the amount of fatal accidents being caused by drunk drivers. This is a serious issue, by the way. Like, I'm not trying to undercut the seriousness of drinking and driving. But I'm sure that we have all seen the video that's about 30 minutes long or so that the basketball coach in like homeroom or something of high school put into the VCR before he passed out in the back of the class that discusses the dangers of drinking and driving. That's me taking a sort of satirical look at how serious schools take all of this shit and how much we educate people about how bad of an idea it is to drink and drive. But Ron here thinks that the way to reduce the amount of drunk drivers out there is to force them to drink warm beers. Because apparently, if you're willing to drink a beer and drink enough beer to get drunk enough to, have a crash, which they say one beer is enough. But if you're willing to drink a beer and then drive, I'm fairly certain that you don't have a problem drinking a warm beer. And also, apparently this fuck here has never heard of coolers. And I'm sure that if you stop the sale of cold beers, the amount of bagged ice paired with coolers would skyrocket. I mean, come on. Has anybody looked into to see like if he owns any companies, mainly ice companies, like companies that bag ice, and then also a cooler company? He could be a significant stakeholder in that Igloo brand. You know which brand I'm talking about there, hon? Yeah. I wonder if that may be the thing. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying that like maybe we should look into his personal finances and shit. But anyways, I also love, as part of this, the hypocrisy of the argument that he's using here, because his basic argument is, well, if we reduce the amount of cold beers that are available at retail outlets, then people will be less likely and less able to get a hold of beers that they would drink while they drive. And for one thing, I have not actually found any scientific data to support this idea that most or a significant portion of drunk driving accidents are actually caused by people getting cold beers at a convenience store and then drinking them as they drive home. Another good solution for this would be, like I said, get a cooler, put ice in it, just sit in the parking lot while it cools down, and then you can drink a cold beer. Like, you're just delaying the point in time in which the accidents happen. That's it. But in any case, the hypocrisy here is that there's also an argument for more gun control that works along the similar lines here. If we enforce more gun control in order to restrict people from having easier access to guns, then that will prevent, but not totally eradicate, a lot of the gun violence incidents that we have. So like that's a gun control issue. But now, because it's beer and not guns, apparently that's a perfectly logical and fine argument to make. Weird how that works when it's not your own little pet amendment that's not being targeted. So despite the bill literally saying, and I'm quoting on this, it prohibits a beer permittee from selling at retail refrigerated or cold beer, which on the technicality, like, I don't know what that includes. Does that mean bars would go away because, they can't have like cold beer on tap and they can't serve cold beer? Or does that mean like grocery stores can no longer keep beers in coolers? I'm not exactly sure. I'm not all that great of a wordsmith, so I don't know what this means legally, but apparently it doesn't mean what you think it means, because Ron has responded to the backlash by saying that it will not prevent the sale of cold beer. Like, that's the entire purpose of the fucking bill, Ron. And he said what he said. He followed up that particular statement that it's not going to prevent the sale of cold beer by saying, I'm not going to infringe on the constitutional rights and civil liberties of honest law-abiding citizens and be unfair to certain businesses and both others. I don't know what the both others. Anyways, none of this argument makes sense here. Like, I don't see how he can say that his bill won't restrict the sale of cold beers when that is literally what it says. Restrict the being able to sell cold beers. Like, that's literally what's in the bill. So, I mean, honestly, if that is true, that, that wasn't his intent, then it kind of seems like maybe this fuck doesn't know how words work, like, at all. If that's the case, then should he really be a state representative of anybody? Can we get this illiterate fuck out of the government, please? Not that, I mean, I'm not trying to sit here and advocate for drunken driving. Obviously, I don't think that that's a right thing to do. But I also think that this is a lot like building taller walls at the border. Like, you're not preventing anybody from getting over. You're just making it a little bit harder to get drunk and kill people.
Not even making it harder. It's just not cold.
Yeah, it's just not cold. You're not putting up any kind of deterrent whatsoever. It's ridiculous. Anyways, so that's what Republicans are concerned about. Cold beer. That's what they're going for there. And then in the biggest news today, that I'm sure everybody has heard of, Donald Trump was handed a judgment where he is going to end up having to pay $355 million in fines for defrauding the state of New York. Trump, seen here at one of the multiple court cases he's already lost because he's guilty of like fucking everything, was convicted of fraud in New York, and the judgment was handed down today. The total fines actually exceed $450 million, with the bulk of that landing on Trump's shoulders. When news broke of the judgment, it was said that the sound of MAGA loyalists cracking their wallets and purses could be heard throughout the country. Trump's campaign was probably drumming up different fraudulent schemes in order to extort money out of these poor bastards. But, for instance, non-existent gold bars that you would then use a fake ATM card to access the value of these gold bars in order to retrieve money, which apparently these ATM cards would work in any ATM anywhere. By the way, this is a real scam that Trump has played on his loyalist faction. They literally sold invisible or non-existent gold bars, gave them a fake ATM card, and then people tried to retrieve money out of the bank after they bought the gold bars. I mean, I don't know why they thought this would work, because that's not how anything works. Like, I've had a stock account, like on Robinhood or something, and you can't just, get like a card and access the funds that you've invested into a stock. Like, even with Robinhood, you can get a card for like a cash account, but you can't directly access the money that's like invested in stocks, which is essentially what they were trying to represent with these gold bars. But for some reason, these MAGA idiots, they think that they need to invest in gold for some reason. I don't know why. Anyways, Trump loyalists had a lot of big feelings due to this whole judgment thing that came down today. Trump claimed that New York would disappear. I'm not even fucking joking about that. He claimed that it would disappear because everyone would leave the state if he didn't win the appeal on this judgment. Or I guess the conviction is what you would appeal, not the judgment. Grant Cardone, who is a private equity fund manager, his wife has already set up a GoFundMe to help Trump pay off his fines. The fines that he incurred because he defrauded an entire fucking state. Kristi Noem of South Dakota, she's the governor there. She's got her own dipshitty things that she said in the past. She wants Trump to move all of his businesses there and do all of his business in South Dakota. To which I'm sure Trump was like, is South Dakota a state? Like, is that a different country? Like, where is that? Then possible coke addict Trump Jr. claims that this was political retaliation against Trump and not the fact that Trump actually defrauded the state of New York. Needless to say, the conservative Jimmies have been devastated by the consequences of Trump's actions. For the group that talks about, law and order, it definitely seems like they don't like it when law and order is forced upon them. And then finally, we have right-wing activist Mark Meckler. You probably don't know this guy that's right up there. He's seen here as his bigot sense is going off when a poor immigrant family crosses the border. He's come up with a solution for the immigration issue. And I mean, it is a fucking banger in the most literal of ways. He claims that Mexico is a failed narco state and are no longer a sovereign nation. And by making this argument, he therefore justifies that the United States should then invade Mexico, the quote-unquote failed narco state, and eradicate the cartels that supposedly run Mexico. Now, that's not me questioning whether or not the Mexican cartels have like a lot of corruption that they've caused in the government in Mexico. I'm just saying that, like, calling Mexico a failed narco state is probably not exactly accurate. Then he wants to set up a puppet government so that we can now control Mexico and set up a demilitarized zone between the United States and Mexico. And he compared this to what's happening in Gaza. And it's worthy to note here that this same guy has been advocating for this Article 5 convention. Article 5 in the Constitution provides for conventions to be convened to where we can amend the Constitution. And basically what this guy wants to do is he wants to get an Article 5 convention set up, and then he wants all of his right-wing people that are actually elected into government to propose very fascist amendments to the U.S. Constitution. And if they can stuff the government with enough people that will just vote blindly without actually thinking about their actions, then they will essentially turn the United States government into a more fascist government by amending the Constitution, because fucking conservatives are dipshits, and there are some Democrats out there that are also pretty big fucking dipshits. So while, yes, this person is crazy, Mark Meckler definitely should be probably committed in some kind of fashion one way or another. And he shouldn't be taken seriously, really, in a normal situation. He wouldn't be taken seriously, but people that are in power, they do take him seriously. They do listen to the shit that he says. And so we should not just reject this because it's a ridiculous notion. There are people listening to these types of people. And so we need to pay attention when they speak. That's going to be it for the news today. I hope that you guys enjoyed the news. This is, pretty fucking abysmal here in the United States. But we're doing all right here in Alabama with Governor Meemaw and shit. Apparently, we're about to get a lottery or something. Maybe, yeah. We get to vote on whether or not we have a lottery, which all the prudes in Alabama I'm sure are going to be like, no, we don't want a lottery. Why the fuck would we want a lottery? Well, lotteries actually help fund a lot of educational stuff, and like they provide a lot of extra income for the state. I don't really think that we need more education here.
I mean, it helps fix roads. We need fucking road fixing.
Yeah. we definitely need better roads here. But was it here in North Alabama where we were hitting those potholes, or was that a different state? Was that Nashville?
No, the one where it exploded my tire.
Yeah.
That was here.
Yeah, that was here.
30 minutes from here.
Well, I was thinking when we traveled up to Nashville, there was that one road we hit where it was like, oh, I'm glad it didn't burst my tire. But, that just means that Alabama roads are worse. Anyways, so that's going to be it for the news tonight. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Are you ready for comments now?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think I contributed.
Yeah, you did. Let's see. I'm trying to get the comments to come up, but let's see. I forgot to get the comment thing initially set up, so I just got to pull this up real quick. Transform, reset it. There we go. It disappeared for a second. So this is the one, courtesy of KC, so y'all can thank KC for this one. Oh, shit. Oh, no. The funny bone is never funny when you aggravate it. You okay? Yeah, okay. You'll make it touch and go? Okay. So first up is this Raya P I591 919 responding to D to the dubs, saying, for your reply, you and your closest friends will receive Jesus. I need my whiskey in hand for this one. Jesus' healing energy, all old aches and pains will be washed away. Takes 30 minutes, best to relax and shut your eyes. Also 1107 Astron night, level 1 portion of youth, longevity, digestion, and self-beauty, Jesus energy wash. Negative energy will creep out her feet till it's time. Oh, It will last 7 days and 7 hours to the second. Could be long term. It's always been choice. Be thankful. So anal.
You're welcome.
Be thankful. So anal. I mean, you gotta go to a special tab on Pornhub for that.
How would you know about it?
I'm guessing they separate by topics, and anal has to be one of them. I don't go to Pornhub. Anyways, so there's nothing to say about this. Negative energy will creep out of your feet. Like, I feel like that's a really weird thing to say. What would that even look like? Like, you walk and there's like this dark mist that emanates from your feet. Like, that would be some cool shit. Like, that seems like some like Destiny shit that I would definitely pay 99 cents to get. Like, I mean, I'm just saying, I don't normally buy cosmetics. I'm just saying, like, if I could spend 99 cents and like walk into work and it's like a dark mist is emanating from my feet and people are like, what's that? Oh, I paid 99 cents for the essence of Satan to emit from my feet. I mean, come on. What's cooler than that?
But only at 11:07 Eastern.
Yeah, only at 11:07 Eastern. Eastern, not Eastern.
Oh,
Eastern.
Okay.
I don't know what fucking time zone that is, but you got to be in Eastern time.
Apparently, also he can tell time through his feet.
I don't know how, but all right. Next up on the comments, we've got Daniel Rodriguez, who says, I can't roll my tongue. I mean, I'm a quarter Puerto Rican, but I did not get that. Like, the rolling of the tongue was not in the quarter that I got. It's somewhere else in the 3/4 that's very white. Daniel Rodriguez says, yeah, I'm all set. I'm an atheist and a Scorpio. Astrology is on point. Oh, you're one of those people. The people that are the proof that just because you're an atheist doesn't mean that you're a rational, reasonable, or even fucking sane person. I'm not calling him insane necessarily, but he's definitely a little bit off of his fucking rocker here. Sky daddies are not. Every Sagittarius woman or dude I've ever met, very promiscuous and whore-like. I don't think that, like, Sagittarius, I'm a Sagittarius.
That's probably why he said it.
Oh, maybe. I mean, am I very whore-like there, hun?
I mean, not really.
Nope, I'm not a whore. She says I'm not a...
Depends on what it's about.
Depends on what it's about. If it's about dick, definitely whore-like. But... What?
That means you want dick.
No.
I think you need to clarify.
No, because you always talk about how I'm always mentioning dick and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but you just basically told the internet that you're a whore for dick.
I'm not. This guy isn't serious. Anyways, so I feel like this is very generalizing and using this whole astrology thing in order to make conclusions about people that you should really not do. Scorpios like myself see right through you. I could go on, but I will stay quiet for now.
I wonder if Scorpios have a problem with not understanding how capitalization should work in sentences.
You're right, honey. Scorpios. Well, you said that KC wondered whether or not Scorpios have a problem determining when to capitalize things and when not to. Also, it would be helpful to have some like commas or other kind of grammatical things in there.
Periods.
I mean, yeah. Well, he doesn't have a period at the end.
Also, whore-like should be
A hyphen?
in between.
A hyphen in the whore-like. I don't know. We could nitpick this guy all day, but basically, I don't take anybody seriously that thinks that astrology is on point. Astrology being that the stars in the sky have some kind of effect here on Earth, other than like a psychological effect that people have because they believe these things. The stars in the sky or other planets, they literally have no effect on Earth as far as like affecting our moods and shit, like astrology says. Like that's just not true. And they're definitely not indicative of any kind of behavioral thing like being a whore. Next up is Nathan Herrera LaGrave saying, if you work in a mental hospital like I do, I didn't believe the moon or retrograde had anything to do with affecting people, but goddamn, it's got to be something because they cycle on the same damn days as full moon and retrograde happens. I mean, I've heard this urban myth that, you know, there's definitely something about a full moon or this whole retrograde thing. But I feel like if there is any kind of correlation here, it's just the psychological effect of believing that they have an effect or some kind of, they factor into the behavior of people. You know, I feel like that belief can affect things, but not that the full moon or retrograde actually has any kind of effect. There's just simply nothing to suggest that any of those things are real. So I would say that the psychological effect of it is far more likely to be the case than any real tangible effect. This person wasn't necessarily a dipshit, but just noticing how crazy things get around like full moons and stuff. And then finally on the comments, we've got Preserving Your Harvest over there on Facebook. They regularly comment with the shittiest comments like this one. If you can't scientifically define love, then it must not exist. And this is, of course, in response to me talking about, you know, God either not existing or how God doesn't love us or anything like that, is as far as the Bible can describe or does describe. But you can definitely scientifically prove love or affection. You can measure chemical levels in your brain like dopamine, serotonin, or other levels of different hormones. You could measure that potentially, but I think the most direct way in knowing this is through people's actions. Like, I love Casey, my wife, and so like I like to call her on the way home from, you know, either work if I have to go in, or like picking Xander up, or anytime that I'm out and I'm about to come home, calling her, talking to her on the way home because I love her and I love talking to her. Like, that's one way that both of us show love to each other, and you can show love to your significant other in various ways. So there is a real tangible way to scientifically prove that one person loves another person. But what we can't scientifically prove is that God exists. Like, that's just not something that actually happens. That, like, having scientific proof for it, at least as far as we can tell, we don't have scientific proof for it. So there you go. All right, that's going to be it for all of the comments tonight. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. You know, you can follow us over there on Facebook if you would like to send some of your crazy-ass relatives, friends, or family over there to comment on the page, and they might make it up on the screen here. So definitely try to do that. It's facebook.com, Godless Engineering. You just go over there and tell people, hey, fuck this guy up, and I would love to review their comment. Now we're going to go to Brocephus. Brocephus has something that he wants to explain to us, and so I figured I'd give him a chance to explain whatever in the fuck that he wants to. So while I go and get him, I am putting up the GE Clips channel over there in the chat. You can go and check out the GE Clips channel where I put up shorter content if you want more, hyper-focused content on one particular claim or one particular segment of a video. You definitely go over there and you can check that out. We post up normally daily over there clips from older videos and everything. So definitely go check that out. Go subscribe to Godless Engineering Clips while I go and fish Brocephus out of whatever drunk tank he is in. So I'm going to go and do that right now, and I'll be right back.
Shitty ass science! We're gonna answer some science shit really wrong.
Hey, Persephus.
What's up?
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good tonight. I got into some of that Four Roses there.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Hey, does he have some of that Four Roses? Because it's good shit.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, you tell him I'm going to drink it. because
I'm just gonna stay out of it. I don't like to get between the two of you.
look, I pregame these things now. That's my plan, is to pregame them. That way my explanations are better. Because when I pregame these explanations, like, I get more in tune with God, and God reveals to me what the answers are as I'm saying them.
I don't think it helps.
You don't think so? I don't know. Let's see. All right, what's up, heathens? Y'all are going to hell, so might as well live it up now. Now, we are going to get into this today. Remember when all those 5G antennas went up? Don't we got one of them 5G thingies around here?
I don't know.
Probably they get disguised like trees, or I don't know, something else. Poles, maybe. I think it's so funny when I drive on the road and I see what, like during the winter, especially, because you'll see a tree out there that's like fully grown, but you can tell that it's like fucking fake, and it's got all these leaves and shit on it, plastic leaves, but it's really some kind of fucking antenna thing. It's like, you're not fooling nobody right now. It's winter, tree. It's not really a tree. It's just a 5G antenna. Anyways, they can dial up whatever illness they want through sympathetic harmonic resonance. I don't think this motherfucker right here even knows what he just said. Those are words that are strung together that don't mean anything when they're put together, because they don't represent any fucking thing in reality. Yeah. As far as I can tell, I got my sensors going to God, and God's like, that shit don't exist. And so, I mean, I know that because God is in direct communication with me. Just so y'all know, this is direct communication from God. I'm even better than the fucking Pope. I'm just saying. And it's all thanks to Four Roses tonight. Let's see. Sympathetic harmonic resonance. Okay, from anywhere they want, providing they know the inherent frequency of the tissue/protein/cell/toxin, chemtrails, graphene, nanoparticles, and hardly anyone is batting a fucking eye. Well, this isn't exactly true, because one, chemtrails aren't real. Graphene, I don't know what graphene has to do with anything. I've heard of the thing about graphene being in vaccines. That's not true. That's fucking... Did you hear me, YouTube? Let me see if I can... YouTube, I am not purporting misinformation. Please don't take the video down. Graphene is not in anything and can't be activated by anybody. Nanoparticles, I don't even know what in the fuck you're talking about here. You're talking about nano machines? Because those aren't in anything, and nobody's eating any of that. Nanoparticles, like, there are particles that are on the nano scale. So, I mean, those exist, but I don't know what you mean by the inherent frequency. What is an inherent frequency? Like, are you talking about the inherent, like, oscillation frequency? Or what is that? What's that fucking frequency called where it shakes and it shatters and shit? Whatever that is that what you're talking about? Because I don't think that that's what you're talking about, because it shook and it like shattered, then it would just destroy whatever fucking nanoparticle fucking thing that is. It would just, and then we wouldn't even know anything. Same thing with the graphene and the chemtrails. Yeah. Can you imagine how fucked up would that be? You're walking along, and then all of a sudden you see, and it's like somebody's making a call. Oh, that would be fucking crazy. Hardly anyone's batting a fucking eye. That's because none of this is real. It's all happening in your head. Unlike God, who's literally in my head right now, communicating all of this, not through like that tongues thing that people think happened, but through actual fucking words you can understand. Doesn't that make more sense? God is channeling himself through me right now, speaking to you in English because I'm based in America. What good would it be for me to be like, sha-la-la-la, bing bong? Like, that don't make sense. Like, why would anybody be convinced by that? Like, you're sitting there saying that I can, like, run around being all crazy, like, shimma-lamma ding dong! And everybody's like, oh, he's speaking for God. Why wouldn't God speak English if you're all English speaking? Like, I would even accept Spanish. You know, like, just speak Spanish up in here. Vámonos al gato en los pantalones. You know, it's neither here nor there what I said. Why do I have a cat in my pants?
Yes.
Because that was in Blue Streak. That's why. Anybody that's old enough to have seen Blue Streak will know what I'm talking about. All right. So anyways, that's going to be it. This person's crazy. I'm Audi 5000. Y'all are going to hell, and I will see you heathens later. Bye, y'all. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I'm supposed to do some... Gee, I'm tired of figuring out your bullshit.
You just have to hit the button.
Well, it's not as easy as just hitting a button because your dumbass husband over there won't set it up properly.
Don't talk shit about him.
Do I still have my blanket for tonight?
You do right now, but if you keep being fucking sassy, you might not.
Okay, well, gee, you're lucky because she could take my blanket away, and I know she'd stop you from doing it. You know, Brocephus, I'm just fucking tired of this bullshit. I'll take your shit away. I don't care what KC says.
Yes, you do.
I care what she says, but she'll let me take it away.
No, I won't.
She says no, but her eyes say yes. We got Math Wiz.
That's not a good legal defense.
That's not a good legal defense? Okay. Math Wiz says maybe it's that one frequency that supposedly will make you shit yourself. The brown note! Maybe it is. Maybe these 5G antennas really, emit the brown note and make everybody shit themselves. And then I could totally see like Verizon executives or just probably Jeff Bezos pushing a button, making the brown note play, and everybody shits themselves all at once. And it's like nobody can make fun of another person because everybody shit themselves. Like, you shit. Oh no. I fucking shit my pants too. Touche. Anyways, yeah, this is fucking crazy. Thank you to Facebook Science for existing over there on Reddit. If you want to see more comments like this, definitely go to Facebook Science, the subreddit Facebook Science. So it's r/Facebook Science. And you'll be able
I don't know if y'all know this, but when you get to heaven, your moral actions are not judged. You're only judged for believing in me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much there, Math Wiz. Appreciate you. All right, are y'all ready to get to the response video? We're there about 15 minutes before 9. That's awesome. Let's see, is that, yep, that's all centered and everything like that. Okay, so we're going to get into this. Now, this is like a 9-minute video, but I feel like a good portion of this is just going to be us listening and consuming the bullshit that's being said. This is common for me whenever I listen to really crazy, ridiculous, magical shit, because like I literally have nothing to say when they start talking about magical stuff, because it's like, what can I say? This is magic, and magic isn't real. We can't determine it. And it would be different if I had somebody here with me that was trying to convince me of these things. Because, huh? Brocephus? He's already drunk, passed out in his bed, I'm sure. He got into my 4 roses. I heard him earlier.
I'm not getting in between you
Yeah,
on that.
I know. This is magical shit. Like, you can already see right here, selling your soul to the devil, breaking any ties with the devil. I don't know what I'm supposed to say about this because I don't believe in the devil, and I think that the devil is a magical concept, and so therefore the devil isn't real, and I don't believe in the soul. The soul is a magical concept and therefore isn't real. So what am I supposed to say about this? I feel that's why I'm way more interested in figuring out like the actual history of Christianity, because then it becomes the question of, well, how do you prove those things? Of course, I could ask this to anybody that's purporting to, say the shit that's going to be said in this video, but they would just, give me some kind of special pleading argument. It ultimately reduces to either a special pleading argument or a presupposition. Like they presuppose a lot of these things, and therefore that's real. And none of those things are all that interesting to me, and none of those things are all that remarkable to say, because like every religion says those things. So we're going to listen to this with as much of an open mind as anybody can have when they're trying to take magical claims seriously. Roll it.
Selling one's soul to the devil and breaking any ties with the devil. as we've seen a lot in movies, probably popularized by certain people who have huge followings about selling their souls to the devil. So here's the part where it's important for people to understand and remember. We can't sell our souls to the devil because we do not have the authority to sell our souls.
That's an interesting way to circumvent the whole idea that you can sell your soul to the devil, despite the fact that, like, there's plenty of Christian denominations out there that think you can sell your soul to the devil. And there's a lot of conspiracy theories about selling your soul to the devil, which is something that we're going to kind of touch on in the last portion of this video. I just think that it's really kind of crazy. It's like, oh, you actually can't sell your soul to the devil because you don't own your soul. God owns your soul, which I feel like is what he's getting to here. God owns your soul, so therefore you don't own it and you can't sell it. Now, I can guarantee you there are plenty of people out there that take things that they don't own and then sell them to other people. Like, that's an entire industry of people out there that do these things. So I don't understand why now this special case here, because it's God and little Dick Adam over there, that apparently you can't sell your soul. Yeah, maybe he's a grower. He could be a grower, honey. He could grow into a 12-foot schlong or something. You know, you're like, I don't know about all that. He could just be like a nice size, 69 inches or millimeters or something. I don't know.
In any case, let me share with you what the exorcist Father Rehill said about this very subject.
This is very important for people to understand. People often say...
before we get into his explanation of this, I just have to laugh at anybody that says, oh, this guy, Father Dan Real, is an exorcist. And he's going to tell you how you can't sell your soul to the devil. And I just have to laugh at this because it's like, oh, he's an exorcist, you say. Okay. I've seen that movie when that bitch twirls her head and vomits green shit on the old guy. Yeah, that was pretty scary. Like, I mean, I don't take anybody seriously that's like, I'm an exorcist. For one thing, in the Catholic faith, like, exorcisms are extremely rare now. And the reason why is because exorcisms were so popular at one point. They got really dangerous, and exorcisms now are really dangerous because, you know, these people, like, they tie people down and hold them there for long periods of time to the point where they could die of dehydration and all this other shit. And there's a lot of things that go on that cause deaths in these situations. And there's a lot of Lifetime movies explaining this that I feel like, and I know Lifetime movies, got it. It's a movie, right? It's going to be a little bit sensationalized, but typically there's a nugget of truth there that it's based on. Like, there really was a person that was treated for an exorcism and they died. Like, I'm talking like that kind of reality to it, not like the entire story, obviously.
To me, I sold my soul to the devil. I say, well, actually, no, you didn't. It wasn't yours to sell. You've been purchased at a great price by Jesus Christ. So you don't have the authority to sell your soul.
I didn't realize that Jesus bought us. How much are we worth? $350? $350. That's what Jesus bought every soul for. Well, no, obviously he's talking about Jesus dying on the cross, saving us from our sins and everything like that, which I think is really ridiculous because basically you have God copy pasting himself on earth, and then forcing himself into a situation where he gets killed, all so that he can change his own opinion about sin. Like, you didn't have to go through all of that. All you had to do was change your opinion. Like, yeah, Jesus died on the cross. For the sake of argument here, let's say that a man named Jesus died on the cross and he thought he was dying for all of our sins or whatever. That has no relation to this sin concept in a practical way in reality. In the faith, obviously, like, they've constructed this narrative that makes sense. I'm not saying that the narrative is irrational or doesn't make sense within the narrative. I'm saying that in reality, in a practical way, sin doesn't make sense and Jesus' sacrifice doesn't make sense. None of the shit that Christianity purports is real or true or is an effect of Jesus' sacrifice makes any kind of fucking sense, because within the story, all God had to do was change his fucking mind about sin. But instead, he's like, you know what? I want a BDSM weekend where I just go, I get the shit kicked out of me. I probably come one or more times, and then I just ascend back up into heaven. Like, that's what it sounds like to me. Like, God did this for his own needs, for his own wants. Like, this is what he wanted to happen. Not because it needed to happen, but because God decided that that's what he wanted to happen. And so it practically, it makes no sense.
But you might think you did. And that can also get you in big trouble. But the truth is, you have free will. And so at any point, you can say, I end this relationship with Satan and his demons. I want nothing to do with them. I revoke any of my prior allegiances to them. I sever all ties to them. I renounce them. I want nothing to do with them. And then go pray the creed out loud. Invoke the creed and the power of God and say to Jesus, I want to serve you, your Father, and your Spirit alone. That's it.
That's it. That's all you got to do to escape a signed contract with the devil. This really takes the wind out of the video earlier this week. I don't know if you guys saw it. It was the Atheism is for Weak Men. And apparently the contract that we sign, right, this timeshare contract that we sign with the devil doesn't even take place. And like, it doesn't take place, but also, it doesn't take place, but also we can easily get out of it by just saying, you know what, fuck you, devil. Like, anybody anywhere can get out of a contract with the devil by saying, fuck you, devil. I reject you and I'm going to suck Jesus' dick. Like, that's literally, apparently, all that you have to do, right? That's all you got to do to get out of a contract with the devil. So this really kind of takes the wind out of a lot of Christian like conspiracy theories about signing these contracts with the devil and everything like that, because you have so many Christians out there that talk about how the devil entices people into atheism, into not believing in God. And it's just really weird how this contract that apparently people sign with the devil is so easily dissolved that you can cast an incantation, like cast a spell to dissolve the contract. Because that's literally what he just described right there. Like, if the devil's real, and if the devil entices people to not believe in God or to not follow Jesus or anything like that, which, by the way, the only people that believe in the devil are Christians. So they already follow Christ. And because of all this, they can cast an incantation on the contract and it just be immediately dissolved. Like, you don't even have to have like a degree from fucking Hogwarts. You just got to say, fuck you, devil, I'm sucking Jesus' dick now. And that fucking contract explodes and just goes away. And the devil's like, ah, darn. You would think that with all of the fucking lawyers that are down here in hell, I would have been able to write a better contract that wouldn't be so easily defeated.
Now, that will be the end of it. You know, that's the end. But the repercussions sometimes take a little longer to sift out, because they have to go, but sometimes they don't have to go right away. And they're not going to be happy about being kicked out, but they do have to go in the end.
And as Father Riel later said, get in touch with your priest for some help.
Yes, get in touch with your priest. Because as we all know, prayers definitely do something. I mean, I think that prayers can have a psychological effect on the individual. I think that, you know, this psychological effect can feel very real, like as far as having an effect in reality. But I don't think that it actually does have an effect in reality, other than the effect that it has on your, like on you yourself, like on how you perceive things, on how you interpret things, and everything like that. And so, in that way, it has an effect. But in a very real, practical way, I don't see how it has an effect at all. Like, I don't see how praying with a priest is going to do anything. I feel like having a counselor to counsel you through any kind of issues that you might have, I feel like that would be a much better option, because, you know, priests are there for spiritual needs, like of a specific religion. These priests are there to guide you in the teachings of the religion and to offer you guidance in respect to the religion. But as far as like your mental health goes, they are not trained for your mental health. I mean, they, like Christians, priests, or any kind of clergy, they can be trained like as counselors, right? They can be trained in that way, but that doesn't mean that your local priest is necessarily trained as a counselor. It takes a lot more training, a lot more experience in dealing with, you know, individual issues that characterize a counselor, like a master's degree or something like that. Like, your priest can have a master's in divinity, but that's very different from a master's in like social work or whatever a counselor would get a master's degree in. But psychology, maybe. Like, I could see a counselor having a master's degree in psychology or whatever. But in any case, I find this entire thing to be quite hilarious, because they have it worked into the explanation. Like, yeah, you could sever the contract, but that doesn't mean the devil's not going to stop fucking with you. And so, like, obviously, if you cast this incantation and dissolve the contract, that doesn't prevent the devil from causing havoc in your life. And in that case, you would just have to wait for the dust to settle and everything will be fine. You don't need a priest or anybody like that, unless you needed a reassurance that it was going to go away. But in general, I don't see this as like a practical effect of the incantation. Like, this magical spell that's cast to dissolve this contract, I feel like all of this is just made up.
Some good prayers. Psalm 91, very powerful prayer of protection, which he suggests to pray every day, as well as the St. Michael prayer, which is very powerful, and of course the Our Father prayer, also super powerful. That's the perfect prayer that Jesus gave us, and that has an exorcism, a minor exorcism right at the end of it. Deliver us from evil.
That's a minor exorcism, honey. To say, deliver us from evil. Like, how can you... I don't understand. Like, for those of you out there that really cringe or don't like characterizing these things as like magic or magical incantations or magical spells or anything like that, how can you seriously say that this isn't some kind of magical spell? This, hold on, let me go back just a little bit here. This thing right here, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, blah, 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 but deliver us from evil. Like, the way that it's portrayed in this video makes it out to be like it's some kind of magical spell that has a miniature like exorcism at the end. I feel like this kind of magical thinking is rampant in Christian circles, especially Catholic circles, because I really don't think that this magical spell has a real effect in reality, other than it can have a psychological effect on you. Like, I think that these things can have a psychological effect on you. You can perceive things differently. You can interpret things that you experience differently. And in that way, it has an effect. But as far as a practical effect, like a real effect in reality, I don't see the evidence that this has anything to do with reality, other than you chanted some words in English. Like, can you imagine God is upstairs and he hears like this particular prayer being said, or reality in general, having this prayer uttered in a very specific dialect of English in 2024, And they're like, oh shit, now we got to dissolve that contract with the fucking devil. Oh, damn. He said it in English, not in Latin, and so that's the correct one.
Exorcism right at the end of it. Deliver us from evil.
So that's my little edit there to introduce the next topic section, which is why atheists are immune to demonic possession. Now, normally what you would say is that, well, atheists don't believe in demons, they don't believe in the devil, and therefore because they don't believe in those things, and those things, as far as we can tell, aren't real, are not affected by those things. So you're not going to find an atheist that is out there acting like they're possessed by a demon because they don't think demons exist, right? They're going to attribute it to something else. This priest right here, Father Vincent Lampert, which is what the FR means. I always thought that it meant friar for whatever fucking reason, but it means father. I don't know. My brain, I know, honey, I get it. You're looking at me like I'm crazy, but when I see FR dot and it's like, you know, it's a religious thing, I'm like, oh, that's a friar. No, it's a Father Vincent Lampert. But he's gonna be explaining why atheists are immune to demonic possession.
You can stop praying now. You can stop praying. I said you could stop praying. And then Father Carmine reached over and took some holy water and blessed the person again. And then the demon manifested and goes, I told you to stop praying.
Stop praying, stop praying. And then, like, he throws water on him. Is like, I said stop praying. That's the demon manifesting, getting aggravated because you're not stopping what I'm asking you to stop. I think that's so funny. You know, honey, we should probably watch that new Exorcist movie. I think that would be interesting.
I would say that the demon has nothing to gain from that. If the person doesn't believe in the devil or evil spirits, then the devil would have them exactly where he wants them to be, in disbelief. So it would be the case, is the devil going to attack somebody that's really devout or unbelief? You could say that if the devil has already won somebody over, then there's really no reason to attack them.
Okay, so basically, the devil wants people to disbelieve in God. And so therefore, if you already disbelieve in God, then you're not going to be attacked by the devil. But I would think that if the devil would want other believers to, you know, believe that the devil has this kind of power and whatnot, I would think that they would want to attack an unbeliever. But I mean, maybe that would just make them believe in God harder. And if the goal of the devil is to get people to not believe in God, then that might be the case. Now, under a Christian understanding, I could see where they could possibly get this, that the devil wants you to not believe in God. And that's because in the Garden of Eden, you know, the devil or Satan or evil in general is represented by the snake. The snake wants Eve to disbelieve what God says. But I think that you can make the nuanced argument of, well, the evil in the Genesis 1 and 2 or wherever that occurs doesn't want Eve to disbelieve in God. He just doesn't want Eve to trust God or to do what God says. And so I feel like the wind is taken out of their sails a little bit, because it's not that, it seems like, as far as the Bible goes, maybe not in Catholic tradition or anything like that, or what's generally thought among believers, that the Satan wants you to disbelieve in God. It seems like Satan wants you to believe in God, but disobey God. And so I don't think that it's Satan that wants you to disbelieve in God. That just doesn't make sense. Satan, I feel, as far as the Bible represents, Satan would want you to believe in God, but disobey him. And so getting a religious or a non-religious person, you know, attacking a non-religious person, I feel would have a profound effect on religious people. And, you know, I feel like that could be a useful tool to get them to not trust God, especially if God's not going to do anything, right, to defeat Satan or to prevent Satan from attacking these people. And I feel like the explanation here that this father is giving is just a way to sort of retcon an answer for why atheists are never attacked by demons. Atheists aren't attacked by demons because demons aren't real. And we're not sitting here trying to bullshit people about demons being real. So we're obviously not gonna be all performative about a demon possession.
The devil's going to really go after those he still stands to gain something from. And I don't mean that to be negative or critical of somebody who's an atheist. That's just my perspective on that. That if,
I feel like that's, I'm not trying to be bigoted or I'm not trying to be racist here, but that's just how I see it. And I feel like that's exactly what he did right there. It's like, I'm not trying to like criticize atheists. I'm just saying the facts here.
if the person really doesn't believe, then the devil has nothing to gain from that person. Because if the devil were to scare them, then that fear might lead them into a relationship with God, and certainly the devil wouldn't want that.
But it may. So let's play this out, right, logically. So the devil attacks a non-religious person, they become religious, like they believe in God, right? But the devil wants to drive a rift between God and the person, right? That's his ultimate goal as far as we can tell from the Bible. It seems like if you take the Genesis example and then, I guess maybe other examples that you could find in the Bible, like the book of Job, the bet between God and the devil, as far as Christian perspective goes. Jewish perspective doesn't have the angel as being the devil, but in a Christian perspective, Catholic perspective here, the angel would be a devil in Job. And all the devil wants to do in Job, as well as in Genesis, is to drive a rift between God and his subjects, like his creation. And so, while an atheist, I guess, not believing in God, there is a rift there. I think that the more powerful rift, or something that's a bit more powerful, if we're speaking magically here, would be if the person believed in God, but, didn't actually, I guess, follow God, or didn't have trust in the Lord. And so I think that attacking a non-religious person, and then, continually attacking them and causing them to believe in God, but then driving a rift in between them, I feel like that's a way more powerful, speaking magically, of course, that's way more powerful than just allowing somebody to just not believe in God for what would be, in this instance, no good reason, right? I feel like one is way more powerful than the other, but again, I guess this is all subjective, because it's like, this is all magical shit that we're just dreaming up, right? Like, he can say, oh, well, this is more powerful than that. And he doesn't actually have any real practical evidence for that. He could have some kind of like scriptural support, like I'm giving, or logical support, like I am also giving. So I feel like my explanation's on par with this Catholic father here, because none of it's based in reality. None of it has any kind of practical evidence. It all has this speculative, magical evidence to it. And so I feel like both of them are just as valid.
So I would say the devil is happy with the person where they are.
By the way, before we come to the end of our video here this time, I would like to briefly share something from Father Lampert that he shared about breaking generational curses. I've made a lot of videos on this subject before, covering what the exorcists have said about this very matter, so I'll just share this one here instead.
I have to say, generational curses, whenever somebody brings that up, it does make me chuckle, because it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Generational curses? Like something my great grandfather did, like he took a shit on somebody's porch and pissed him off. Let's say he took a shit on the porch of a church, to which the priest of the church came out and then vomited all over the floor because of the massive shit that he laid, right? Let's say that happened, and that is a generational curse on me. I have nothing to do with that. I don't even know who my 12 times great grandfather fucking was. Oh, fourth generation? One.
And the good news is that
So one, my dad, grandfather, and then there's great grandfather. I only know one of those. And then, so it'd be great great grandfather, right? Oh, I'm the fourth generation, so it'd be my great grandfather. I only know one of those. He may have taken a shit on a church. I don't know.
generational spirits can be broken. Just because the devil says you made a pact and it means it forever isn't true. People can make a pact.
Wait a second. If I make a pact with the devil, unless the pact specifically states like generationally, they are to adhere to the devil, like it would directly apply to me. But I guess maybe why is he? Wait a second. Is this an image depicting the devil and like the fiddler? Like the devil went down to Georgia. Yeah. Devil went down to Georgia. Something a soul to steal. He was looking for a soul to steal, and some hillbilly with a fiddle like beat him in a fiddling race. And that was that. Like, is that what that's depicting? Because I feel like the devil didn't make out too well in this, considering he was beaten by a hillbilly with a fiddle.
With the devil, but that pact can be broken if a person says they no longer want this attachment in their lives.
Okay, so obviously all that was ridiculous. Now, here's where it gets a little bit more serious, because we have this like connection between this Catholic conspiracy theorist and I guess the political movement that we're seeing now, because you have plenty of MAGA people out there that are saying that like there's this new world order and all this other stuff. Trump is our one savior and all this other bullshit. And so the rest of this video is this father, this Catholic father, who's also an exorcist, and he's explaining how Revelation ties into the New World Order, which if you don't know about the New World Order, it's like Illuminati shit. Like the Illuminati controls the world economics and political scene, socioeconomic spheres of influence and everything like that. So that's what we're getting into here.
And we're going to take a dive into one of the most difficult books in the Bible, the book of Revelation. And why is it one of the most difficult? Well, just take a look at so many people interpreting the book of Revelation according to their own understanding, and we get so many different interpretations and understanding.
Yeah, it does seem like every other book in the Bible there, hon. But also, I have to say, if God wants people to like adhere to his prophecies or take his prophecies seriously, why would he communicate in a fashion that allows for multiple individuals to interpret it in massively different ways? I feel like in our modern legal system, you have to be so very specific with your words. I mean, I've had Casey explain it to me multiple times because she's so good at words. You are, hun. You are so good at words. You're welcome. And she regularly has to explain to me how this set of words right here, even though I'm interpreting it with, a different perspective than like other people, taking it literally and taking it legalistically, it can mean a lot of different things. Like she has blown my mind before about how, well, this sentence doesn't actually mean what you think it means. And I would think that if you were a god and you were wanting to communicate your message in a way that clearly indicates what you're trying to tell people, you wouldn't be so ambiguous as to allow your words to be interpreted in so many fucking ways. And you're going to see what I'm talking about here, because this guy is going to be doing a lot of weird metaphorical explanations that you know, you could definitely tell people can take these things different ways. I would think that if you were a god wanting to communicate, or anybody, not even just a god, like totally a god, but anybody, if you're looking to communicate with another person, you would not communicate in this fashion.
Basically, Revelation is one of the most argued over, misinterpreted books of the Bible because of the massive amounts of imagery. Many think that the book cannot be fully understood until the end times. And so what I'd like to share here with you in this video is from the Catholic theologian and exorcist, Father Joseph Iannuzzi, regarding the New World Order in the book of Revelation.
Well, again, introducing them as a father in the Catholic Church, I'm perfectly fine. Like I don't know what the difference between just a general priest and a father is, or if a priest and a father are the same thing.
A priest is the job.
Priest is the job.
Father is a title.
Father is a title. Can you be a priest without being a father? No. No? So they're intertwined. If you're a priest, you are a father.
Is a priest's title.
Okay.
Like Mr.
Right.
Father.
Father.
So
Okay.
Like in Baptist churches, Brother Mark.
Right.
Is the pastor of the church's brother, whatever.
Yeah, but isn't a brother in the Catholic Church like a different rank of Christian?
There is no brother in the Catholic Church.
I thought that there were, because I thought that, like, don't friars refer to each other as brothers?
I don't know.
Okay. Anyways, but the point is that priest and father are deeply coupled together.
Father is a priest's title.
Father is a priest.
Father is a priest's title.
Right. That's what I'm saying, is that they go hand in hand, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Father is a priest's title.
Father is a priest's title. I got you. Lucrezia Cosplay says, "Isn't the Book of Revelations just about the fall of Rome?" That's the like the cultural context and the time in our past that makes the most sense with Revelation being written. That is definitely when it was written. Like, well, I don't know, fall of Rome, like.
You have been blessed by Christ. Now go forth and suck my dong.
A lot of people have identified the Book of Revelation as being written in the 2nd century because it matches a lot of the strife and the struggle that was going on in the Roman Empire in the 2nd century. But I know that the fall of Rome doesn't occur until like a long time after that. Like, let's see, when was the fall of Rome? Because I know that the Book of Revelation is definitely a 2nd century document. Fall of Rome was 476 AD. It definitely was written prior to 476. It was definitely written in the 2nd century. But the political and socioeconomic strife that was going on in the 2nd century is when it was most likely written. Let's see. Let's see. Obviously, from PBS, it says the later, like very late into the 1st century. But I would say that probably the most likely situation is the 2nd century is when it was written. I'm not exactly sure why they say that. I could definitely research it a little bit more and figure out what the arguments are for placing it in that point in time. Like predicting the fall. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So predicting the fall of Rome, I think that could probably be it, even though it didn't occur until hundreds of years later. I think that it could probably do that. And there's a lot of socioeconomic things that were happening that match with what was being said in Revelation.
I think this will help you to clear some confusions you might have, and hopefully you'll be able to understand more the next time you start reading the book of Revelation.
In the book of Revelation, St. John talks of the world's future in Revelation 12:3 and 4.
Before he continues on, it was not written by St. John. Revelation was written by an anonymous author that I don't know if he's the same author that wrote like the Gospel of John. typically tradition says that the Gospel of John and Revelation were written by the same person, but I don't know if that's actually true. Regardless of any of that, though, it definitely, like, Saint John was not the person that wrote either the Gospel of John or Revelation.
Chapter 12, verses 3 and 4, as well as in verse 17, St. John beholds a huge red dragon in the sky. That's the devil. And in Revelation 13, he beholds two beasts. One emerges from the sea with 10 horns and 7 heads.
You know, the way he describes this, I totally see it being like a Magic the Gathering set. Like, they could totally do a biblical Revelation Magic the Gathering set, and like I would totally take it as being like real, like a good set. Because, like, you could have some kind of creature card that's like, you know, the 7-headed dick bag of whatever the fuck. And, like, you know, you could have cards that could represent the book of Revelation. And you wouldn't be able to distinguish it from, like, Magic the Gathering lore, I'm fairly certain.
And the other from the earth with 2 horns. He reveals that the 7 heads of the first beast represent 7 kings who reign over 7 kingdoms, 5 of whom have fallen in John's lifetime. 1 is present in his lifetime, and the 7th kingdom has yet to come.
Okay, so the 5 kingdoms are 5 past groups of peoples or kingdoms that have oppressed the Jewish and Christian people. The current 6th kingdom, I guess, is the Romans. That would be the Roman kingdom, because Rome was widespread at the time in the 1st century on to Rome's fall, which, interestingly enough, because my wife is amazing, before we went to Rome, we were like really heavily invested in a lot of Roman culture and history. And so we actually found out like some of the causes of the fall of Rome, like the fact that it was so widespread, the fact that, you know, it took so much time to communicate between the different provinces, that a lot of different provinces were basically acting like their own governments and everything like that, you know, eventually it just got too big to succeed and eventually fell. And so, like, that's a really simplistic top-down view of the fall of Rome, but the fact that people could see at this point in time in the 2nd century, like, this shit can't last forever. This shit's gonna fall. I feel like is just being able to read the room. Like, sure, it didn't fall for for more than 100 years, like hundreds of years.
The fall of Rome lasted almost 1,300 years.
Right, the fall of Rome lasted or took place over the period of 1,300 years. Nearly. So, I mean, it wasn't like an immediate thing, but yeah.
That is in our lifetime. That's happening now. This 7th kingdom is popularly known and quoted by politicians as a new world order, which is also found in Latin on the back of the dollar bill. In sacred scripture, the expression hills, St. John talks about 7 hills, or mountains represent governmental structures or kingdoms. And wherever there is a kingdom, there is a king. For this reason, those who claim that the 7 hills of the book of Revelation refer to Rome pervert the sacred text. They're trying to literally apply this, and this is not what John had in mind.
How would he know that? Like, how would he know what John had in mind? Well, I mean, obviously it wasn't John, but, you know, and what he's saying here is that those that don't believe in a magical explanation for all this, they say that the 6th hill is Rome, or that the 6th kingdom is Rome, or that all of this applies to Rome. That's because the time in which they are based in, that makes the most sense. Like, that's the most plausible explanation for what they're trying to talk about. And of course, this father here, Father Joseph, has to portray it as like a more meaningful explanation, like a more meaningful thing, when really it was just some fuck who had maybe one too many mushrooms and had a weird dream and then wrote the dream down. and had this crazy 7-headed figure, and like he had some weird ideas about Rome's fall. Like, that's it.
On St. John's Book of Revelation,
Rome was built on 7 hills. That's right. I remember that being a main feature of all the stuff that we read, and while we were in Rome, they talked about the hills.
I mean, and you could see the hills when we went to the top of the Victor Emmanuel Monument.
Right. Yeah, you're right. We could see the hills when we went to the top of the Victor Emmanuel Monument. Yeah, we were at the very top of it, and you could see the landscape, and it was beautiful. I can't wait to go back either, hun. But like, I'm just saying, like, all of this in context makes the most sense for it to be talking about Rome. But obviously, Father Joseph here, it has to mean something more than that.
Was penned in particular chapters 13, 17, describing the vision of a beast that has 7 heads, kings, that represent 7 hills, kingdoms, 5 of which have fallen. He is referring to kingdoms of the past. And St. John adds that one kingdom has yet to come in Revelation 17.
Right. In Revelation 17, the kingdom to come is the final one, like the Antichrist. It's like an Antichrist sort of prophecy about the Antichrist taking over and it being the final kingdom. Somebody asked in the chat, Platonic Cuddler asked, what's up with all the 7s? If you don't know, as far as all this religious shit goes, there are magical numbers that exist. 3 is a magical number, obviously, Trinity, God, Holy Spirit, Jesus. There is 7, which is another magical number. 12 is another magical number. Like, there's a whole set of magical numbers that they apply to their faith. And so 7 is very indicative here of it being something divine or something oriented towards a god or gods.
And that is what we're experiencing in these end times.
We're in the end times. Like, that's what he's saying. We're experiencing all this in the end times. So the 6th kingdom has already fallen. That was Rome. And the 7th kingdom to pop up is the kingdom of the Antichrist.
Address the meaning behind these symbolic.
Casey said, which is Obama?
Imageries that John speaks of. Revelation 12, verse 3, a red dragon appears in the sky. This is Lucifer. Why the sky? Remember what Jesus said? I saw Satan fall like lightning from the sky.
When he's like, remember what Jesus said? I saw, and then immediately my brain was like, I saw the sign. Opened up my eyes and I saw the sign. Something about you. Oh.
Now the question is, where did he land? Obviously, it was here on Earth.
I like how optimistic this father is. Is like, where did he land? He fell out of heaven. He didn't land somewhere. That motherfucker crashed. He left a fucking crater. That's what killed the dinosaurs.
The priest. Stop saying father. The priest. That's like saying this mister.
Oh, the priest.
Yes. Stop saying
Sorry.
father. The priest.
I'm bad Catholic.
It doesn't matter about Catholic. I told you, priest is a job. Father is the title.
I mean, I get that, but for me, father, priest, they're like interchangeable. But I know that they're not. So say priest. The priest.
Because we find him roaming the earth in the book of Job. And the angel speaks to Satan and says, what are you doing? He says, just roaming the earth, patrolling it, looking for someone. And St. Mark says, Satan is like a roaring lion, roaming the earth looking for someone to devour. Resist him solid in your faith.
Wait, if Satan is a roaring lion that's perusing the earth for victims, I don't know about y'all, right? But if I saw a fucking roaring lion in my street, I'd be on the phone with animal control. I can see picking up some kind of pest control, like cooked pest control. Hey, there's a lion on the street. You've got the wrong service, buddy. We deal with roaches, not lions. So I got animal control on the phone. Like, there's a giant fucking lion in our street, roaring, asking people for their souls. I'm fairly certain that I would notice a roaring lion going around everywhere. Even if you're speaking figuratively, this would be something that we would notice.
So Satan was cast down from heaven to the earth. But remember, Satan is a spirit. He doesn't have a body. So he can multi-locate.
Multi-locate? I feel like that's a made-up word. Is that multi-locate? Did you mean multiplication? No, Google, I didn't mean multiplication. Multi-location means something that takes place in, operates in, or involves more than one location. Huh?
You can't use it as a verb.
No.
Like multi-location. He's not saying he was in multiple locations. He's saying he can multi-locate.
Yeah, he can he's using it very differently than as a verb. Yeah, as a verb. That's interesting. Nope. Trickster says he's omnipresent like God. That kind of seems to be what he's suggesting here. Like, he can mimic God, and so therefore you don't know whether or not you're following God or following Satan. I mean, I don't know how you would determine between the two, and he's not going to tell us.
Just like hauntings in houses. They're not confined to one place. Spirits can multi-locate, good and bad spirits.
You know I got to do it, honey. You want us. You got us. Anybody that watches Ghost Adventures, like, that's been in the very beginning. I always, like, whenever we put on Ghost Adventures at night to go to sleep, Zach comes on and he's like, you want us, you got us. And anytime anybody talks about a spiritual haunting or anything, I'm just like, he wants us and he's got us.
You did that on the ghost tour.
I did. We did a ghost tour down in Louisiana, in New Orleans. And, like, we were in a graveyard, and Casey's like, come on, John, do the thing. And so I'm like, okay, I will. And she, like, starts recording and goes around. And then it gets to me, and I'm like, you want us. You got us.
And this red dragon, Lucifer, appears in the sky because he's in the act of falling. And he is known in Scripture as Satan, the devil, the dragon, the ancient serpent, the adversary, and so forth. He is the evil spirit imbuing and empowering all of the pagan kingdoms, known as the beast, to wage war against Christ and his church. The 7 heads are kingdoms, and the 10 horns are its kings that work under the diabolical authority of Satan.
So there are 10 kings that work under the diabolical authority of Satan. Shit.
And with respect to the last kingdom of which St. John writes, and that has yet to come, it is argued that this kingdom is currently being formed today through the apostatized Western Allied nations.
The Western Allied nations are forming the 7th kingdom, which is the last kingdom to fall. Now, what would be the apostatized Western Allied nations? Is that like the UN or NATO? The Western Allied nations. So like the United States, Canada, France, England, whoever else, I guess, would be part of fucking NATO. Huh? Germany, France. Like all those, like us forming under one pact. The New World Order!
That are presently pursuing the creation of what is referred to as a Great Reset to lead to a new world order, a one world government.
So the Great Reset is a conspiracy theory that includes the NWO, the New World Order, as well as the Illuminati and everything like that. And that's basically where they're performing this Great Reset on everything and bringing everybody under this one faction. The NWO is a wrestling group. I prefer that NWO to like whatever in the fuck this guy is talking about. Fucking priest QAnon batshit crazy person, huh? Weirdo.
And these expressions are used again by public figures in politics. So these are not conspiracies. These are facts.
You can't just say these aren't conspiracies, these are facts, when you have literally not provided any fucking facts whatsoever. I feel like he's got like a poster in the background there for some movie called New World Order that includes whoever in the fuck those QAnon people are up there. And, you know, it's just like, oh, see, there's a movie about it. Wouldn't that movie be part of the NWO agenda? Like, sure, we want to put it out there that we're controlling you, but that's only to desensitize you to the control that we're actually exerting. I feel like having that movie poster in the video totally contradicts what you're even trying to fucking push.
By the way, do you know where the concept conspiracy theory came from? Who created it? Well, I won't mention that three-letter institution of our government, but that's where it came from.
So it's either CIA or FBI. I feel like those are the two that it could be. I'm leaning more towards FBI, but I'd love to know what y'all think. Do you think that he's talking about the FBI or the CIA? Technically, the CIA is not supposed to have any kind of operations occurring on U.S. soil. CIA normally operates in on foreign soil. So if it's, you know, part of our daily lives or whatever, then that's the FBI acting on U.S. soil.
The word conspiracy has been around far longer than the United States.
True, the word conspiracy has been around longer than the United States. So we've got Platonic Color Mathwis says NSA, but I feel like the NSA is far younger than the FBI. IRS, ATF, somebody said FDA, NSA, ATF, MRE. I'm not sure what MRE. That's it, meals ready to eat. Like, is that what? I don't know what MRE is other than meals ready to eat. I saw somebody say the FDA, and I thought that was the most hilarious possibility there. Oh, Eric got it. MIB.
You have been blessed by Christ. Now go forth and suck my dong.
Platonic Color said FDA. Yep, FDA.
And this so-called New World Order is under the rule of a tyrannical world global leadership and their adepts. And this last kingdom of which St. John speaks is to wield power and influence far greater than its predecessors.
Right. So basically, Illuminati shit is what he's suggesting there. He's saying, oh, well, it's got to be the Illuminati. And so the Illuminati is predicted by Revelation. I don't see that, and I feel like you've got to really reach in order to come to that conclusion, but that's definitely not stopping this priest, Father Joseph, from coming to that conclusion, huh? Father McFeely? Maybe. He is a Catholic priest, so he has like a 35% chance of, you know, being Father McFeely. Anyways, that's going to be it for the crazy ass video tonight. Are you guys happy that we did a Magic Ain't Real, so this is all stupid kind of stream? Let me know down below in the comments. I'd really love to hear your input on this. Anyways, I was not at all impressed by any of the stuff that we looked into tonight, whether that be demonic possession of atheists or whether or not you can sell your soul to the devil. Obviously, I don't believe in the devil. I don't believe in souls, so you can't sell something that doesn't exist, I guess. Or, well, I mean, Trump has more than proven that you can sell something that doesn't exist, but I can't sell something that doesn't exist to an entity that doesn't exist. That's all just happening in my own mind at that point. So I wasn't impressed by any of this. I would really love to hear what y'all think down in the comments below. This is G Fuel now. That's that the Spider, what's the Miles Morales Spider-Man glitched G Fuel thing. So anyways, we're going to go on to Skeptic Mafia comments. If you would like to, please go down below. Let us know what you think about anything that we discussed here tonight, any of the news topics that we discussed. Do you think that cold beer should be banned in Tennessee? Let me know down below in the comments. And while you're down there, why don't you smash that like button and subscribe if you like this kind of content. Don't forget to stand up and use your voice. Bye, heathens. But don't go, because we got the Skeptic Mafia comments to go through. We do have some Skeptic Mafia comments on the post. Not many, but we do have some. And in order to get me to read them on stream, you do have to comment on the post, not on the video. So definitely, if you're part of the crowd that commented on the video, make sure you comment on the post next time. All right, here we go. Booyah! Got it. Trickster says, let's see where to start. If you have a soul, I haven't sold it to anyone yet. If I have a soul, I haven't sold it to anyone yet. He says Jesus somehow grabbed my soul and he somehow owns it. I would appreciate it if he would give it back. I'm keeping it till I can get the best deal for it. Yeah, you gotta have diamond hands about it there, Trickster, right? Like you gotta hold and hold and hold and hold until as long as you can, to the very last second, and then you sell it for the best price that you can. He then goes on to some crap about the prayer of protection. Will it protect me from God? That guy's got some serious anger management issues. I mean, I agree. I would really love to hear the Catholic prayer to protect me from God's retribution. I don't think that that's actually something that happens, like a prayer to protect yourself from God, but I feel like it should be, considering how fucking crazy that dude is. He then, let's see, now he brings up the exorcist and demons, neither of which have been proven to exist. I agree. Revelation, how did we get here? I guess we really should have left off at Detroit, or should have left turned at Detroit since we're here. Let's talk about so many people believing someone's fever or drug dream is divine providence. Would these people believe me if I woke and said monsters were going to destroy the world? When all is said and done, if I do have a soul and these two entities want it, meaning I would have to be on their side, I'm going to pick Satan based on the records of both. I agree. The one with the larger death count is definitely God. Okay, I decided to risk torturing myself by watching this video. Drew's book reviews, by the way. Watching this video ahead of time. Lol, I believe is what is meant there. 1, we don't have the authority to sell our souls because they have been purchased by Jesus. Okay, so this essentially means or implies we have no authority over ourselves. We have to be bought and sold by God and Jesus. I suppose we should not be surprised as the Bible does endorse slavery. Why should our souls be any different? Astute observation there, Drew. We can break a pact with the devil, but the video seems to imply when it comes to God that we do not have the same option with God. We have no authority to sell our souls, but we can break a contract with the devil. Yeah, okay, if we can with the devil, why not God? That's a good point. I didn't think to ask that. Why not God? If we can cast an incantation to dissolve a contract with God, why can't we cast a similar incantation to destroy our connection with God and Jesus? I mean, I guess that would be, I'm sucking devil dick now, God, so, you know, fuck off. It's a shitty incantation, but it may work, I don't know. 3, as for dragons being the devil / Satan, yeah, I don't care. Dragons are majestic and magical creatures and quite frankly awesome. Anyway, that's all for now. Until next time, heathens, keep on reading. I actually have, I'm trying to get in on that tournament that Cirrus is doing, where he's got this tournament where you have to create $15 commander decks. So I'd really like to get in on that to see if I can actually win anything. Normally with Magic the Gathering, I don't win. I suck. But one of my decks is a deck that has a lot of dragons in it. So, I mean, I think dragons are cool too. They're powerful and shit, and it's just awesome. Nerding out with G.
Did you have to go to Georgia for that?
Well, I mean, I guess I could if I wanted to, but they're planning on doing it. Like, there's apparently a program you can use that you put your webcam at your table that you're playing at, and it'll automatically load up like what cards you have on the field. Yeah, so I mean, I don't have to. Let's see. Tomato Cuddle says, first you have to prove the soul exists. Then prove that Satan or any demons exist. Now finally prove that your God or Jesus exists. Then we'll talk. But now you know what time it is. It's ASCII time, and it's the no. The angry cat that just is like, no. Grumpy Cat disapproves, but if you want the Grumpy Cat's approval, go ahead and give a like button a big lick, and go ahead and kiss that subscribe button like it was the Godfather's ring. Ding the bell and join the Skeptic Mafia today for all the perks. Insert random assortment of perks here. You've got a definites usually. But right now, you get to feel fulfilled by supporting me and my Magic the Gathering habit. I mean, you get emojis, and I usually do a hangout. I try to do a hangout every month. And then there's, what else is there? I already said the emojis. Emojis, hangout. Yeah, we're supposed to do a Skeptic Mafia podcast, but we haven't done that in a little bit. Yeah. Skeptic Mafia podcast. We're going to talk about political shit. And remember, KZ is always right. Eat your goddamn fruits and veggies and drink some fucking water, you heathens. Tomato out. Thank you there, Tomato. Mr. Handshake says, can't wait to see this dumpster fire tonight. Fail well. What the fuck? From KC there. Thank you, Mr. Handcheck. And then Michaels Beverly says, friends, I just recommitted my life to Satan. Thank you for posting this and reminding me how important it is to have priorities. Thank you so much there, Michaels Beverly. Michaels Beverly there, or sorry, Michael S. Beverly maybe is what it. Michael Beverly. Thank you so much. I got to meet him in our chat this month, and that was awesome to meet him. He's a great guy. He's got a channel, Michael Beverly. So, and where he actually got Mike Lacona on to talk. And so that was interesting because Mike has always dodged me. So I'm glad that he's speaking to somebody out there. Anyways, that's going to be it for tonight. That was all the comments. I appreciate you stopping by, watching what we got here, and listening to some of this crazy shit that's been going on the YouTubes. You guys are awesome. I can't wait to see you guys next week. We've got some great stuff that's going to be coming out next week. I don't know exactly which video is going to post on which day. The Reformed Zoomer recently put out a breakdown of 10 arguments for God that I'm planning on going through. It's 9 minutes long, so I was going to do 4.5 minutes in one video, 4.5 minutes in another video because he covers a lot of shit. And then we got some other things also that have been posted that I plan on going through, as well as our continuation of my response to Kip Davis and continuation of my response to Gothic. So we've got a lot of things to pull from there for the next couple weeks. So if you are not subscribed, definitely consider subscribing. And I hope that you guys have a fabulous weekend. I'm going to go and relax. Get me some more whiskey and watch some Charmed with KC. And I guess I will see you heathens later. Don't forget to stand up and watch your Don't forget to stand up and watch your fucking mouth. Don't forget to stand up and use your voice. Bye, heathens.